I'm Tara Bassett. This is the Homegrown Radio Hour on Crescent Hill Radio. I'm so delighted to greet you tonight because it's going to be a fantastic show. Our guest is Kyle James Hauser, and I literally just was shocked to learn that he drove in from Colorado tonight, 16 hours almost straight, just to be here with us.
That's right, yeah.
On Crescent Hill Radio.
My GPS told me that I would have a 3-minute window to make it on time, and
oh
thank
my
goodness
God.
I didn't hit traffic or anything.
That's absolutely incredible. And Kyle James is an incredible musician. He played all over Colorado all summer. And it was really, really nice of you to take the time to be with us tonight because I know that your play schedule has just been tremendous.
Yeah, it's been a busy summer, which is the way I like it. Summer's the time to play and hang out, and but it's nice. I really like having kind of a tight deadline.
Yes.
When I have to drive long distances, because if not, I'll just kind of wander, and then and then I get somewhere and I'm like, what am I doing here? And so this actually was kind of perfect because now I'm still, like amped up from the drive, and it was kind of a rush. There were a couple times, I was speeding, and like you look in the rear view and you think it might be a cop, and you're like, uh-oh.
You hope not.
One ticket could have made me late for this show.
Well, thank God the cops were not on you.
Yes.
I just have to just pop in with one more thing, and that is there's a bittersweet tune tonight. And I need you to play a bittersweet tune for me at some point.
Okay.
This is my last night subbing for the inestimable Christy Stevens here on the Homegrown Radio Hour, which I have enjoyed for the last couple of months. Christy will be back next week with Morgan Shawcross from Stonewall. Great musician. And really, really looking forward to her being back, as are all of our listeners. They've just been putting up with me for a couple of months, but as I said at the very first, I had big shoes to fill, and Christy is going to be coming back. So play that bittersweet tune for me sometime during this hour.
All right,
okay?
you got it.
And I'm going to hopefully be popping up on Crescent Hill Radio in another capacity very soon. But Christy, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here for the last couple of months. It's really been great for Wednesday nights. This is a really established show. I think, wasn't Kathy Weisbach, producer, station manager, wasn't this one of the first shows on Crescent Hill Radio? Wednesday night? Oh, that is really bad. Wednesday Night Live. I like the Homegrown Radio Hour a lot better.
It's got a nice ring to it.
Well, Kyle, I want to talk to you a little bit about just the last couple of CDs you've got. You've given me your first, and you've given me most recent. And what I love about this first one, is it features one of my favorite musicians of all time, Mr. Ben Sully.
Yes.
How fantastic was that working with him?
Oh, Ben's the best.
I mean, I saw him last with Bella, and it was so cool because they're both such now gigantic names.
Yeah.
And to know that you got to play with him, not that you're not a gigantic name yourself, but I'm telling you, how you can live up to Ben Sully. I mean, I can't live up to Ben Sully. And I've been fortunate enough to interview him and have him on my shows. So I cannot wait to play this in my car and listen to you guys collaborate.
Well, that record, I play only banjo and then sing and wrote the songs, of course. But when I was studying music in Boston, there was a really terrific band that was just kind of blowing up called Crooked Still.
Sure.
And they were a band that featured a female vocalist, Aoife O'Donovan, banjo and cello as a trio. And then they had a bass player too, but he would kind of stand in the shadows. And it was really about this really interesting dynamic created by those instruments. And Greg List, the banjo player, was my first banjo teacher.
Oh, cool.
I started playing banjo about 22 or something like that. And the cellist was a guy named Rashad Eggleston, who all of them are still around doing insane things, and that band became huge. And but I just really fell in love. I've always loved the cello, but the banjo was kind of like... It's kind of like getting a new step sibling, or like your parents have like another kid and you're like, all right. Yeah. Like, I think about the banjo as like my brother. It's like, I love him, but sometimes,
Yeah.
But it's an instrument that just made a lot of sense to me.
Yes.
So when I set out, I moved to Colorado after college to study with a really wonderful banjo player who ended up producing both of my records, named Jamie Stone, and really one of the most innovative players on the scene. And he sort of convinced me to to make a record of my own. At that time, I was really focusing on being a sideman, a session guy. I was recording on a lot of other people's records and touring with a lot of different bands. And he kind of convinced me to do it. So when we got around to thinking about what that might look like and sound like, the first instrument I wanted was cello. And I had a list of 3 people, and Ben topped that list. And so
I bet he did.
Yeah. So we have some mutual friends, Ben and I, through the years, just from music. And Jamie had recently played a show with him when he was in the Sparrow Quartet. And he's like, well, you know, let's just give him a call. So I called him up one day and told him what I was after. And he's like, yeah, it sounds great. So I flew him out to Colorado, and we made that record. And he was, really wonderful and an invaluable contribution. And I look forward to doing another project with him soon.
Yeah, I miss the Sparrow Quartet.
Sorry?
I miss the Sparrow Quartet.
Oh, me too.
I used to love to go to their performances no matter where they were.
Yeah, that record is so great.
Well, you have some other big names on some of these albums, and I want to get to one of your pieces of music first. What have you got first for us?
Well, shoot. That's a good question. I was kind of...
Is that the name of it? Well, shoot.
I was sort of thinking about it as I come down from my long, long drive. And so I think I'll start with a tune off my new record because it feels right. Well, I got a burn in my heart, fire in my soul, and every day I'm without you, I'm growing 2 days older. It feels like it's been forever, forever and a year since you and I were holding hands. Oh, I miss you, my dear. It's been so long, so long, so long, so long, so long, so long. Well, we're both on our journey, traveling down our road. And life is like a funny game that doesn't always pay you what you're owed. It's too hard to be together, too painful apart. But somehow though, in time we'll know you are the other half of my heart. It's been so long, so long, so long, so long, so long, so long. Oh, baby, when I miss you and I start to cry, the coffee cup, the dripping pen in my notebook, I will write that somehow I feel you with me, even though you're far away. And it isn't wrong, but it sure is hard living this way. It's been so long, so long, so long, so long, so long, so long, so long.
Wow. You got a little Ben Soleil influence